Today's topics are going to include feudalism, origins, fiefs, vassals, knights, manors, serfs, and the end of feudalism. Feudalism is the economic and political system that dominated Western Europe from about 900 to 1300 AD, during the height of the Middle Ages. It started with the fall of the Roman Empire. For hundreds of years, Europe was unified under one government, but the Roman Empire fell apart around 500 AD. After this, Europe broke into a dozen of independent kingdoms. The leaders of the new countries had a hard time keeping their countries safe and united. The feudal system helped solve these problems. Under the feudal system, the king gave large tracts of land, called fiefs, to leading men in the country. Having a fief made you a nobleman or a baron. This gave them power and responsibility. Nobles became the king's vassals, promising to serve and protect him. If the land got invaded, the noblemen had to provide the king with troops. They also had to pay taxes to the king, put up a ransom money if the king were kidnapped, provide gifts of money when the king's son gets knighted or his daughter gets married. They even had to provide lodging in case the king came visiting. Nobles with large tracts of land usually divided it up. Just like the king, he would grant fiefs to his own vassals, and they would promise loyalty and protection. His vassals were often friends, relatives, or higher-ranking members of the church. Some were specialized soldiers called knights. Not all knights got land. In exchange for their service, they got a nice place to live and equipment and supplies they needed. By hiring lots of knights, a nobleman always had soldiers ready to defend his land and the king's. This system of promises and personal relationships kept Europe stable for 400 years. Land was the most valuable thing in existence. Landowners were called lords, and the land was called manor. Lords lived in castles or manor houses, and had total control of the land and the people who lived there. Lords made their own laws, collected taxes from the peasants, and punished the wrongdoers. Once you got a fief, you could keep it in your family by passing it down to your eldest son, who would then pass it on to his eldest son, and so on. The poorest people on the manor, and 90% of the population, were peasants or serfs. In exchange for the use of a small plot of land, serfs had to pay the lord taxes, work on the lord's fields, and follow the lord's laws. They didn't have a lot of rights and were not allowed to leave the manor. They also produced all the food and supplies on the manor. The end of feudalism was brought about by many reasons. In the 1300s, famines and plagues killed millions. These disasters created a labor shortage. Peasants were able to demand more rights and money. When they didn't get their way, they staged rebellions. Soon, towns started growing, and a middle class was born, slowly gaining rights with money over land.